Why is society so determined to not let people commit suicide?
Because most people who commit suicide do it impulsively and really just need help and support. More so than they need to stop living. I've been suicidal before, but I got better and love life now. If you die, you lose that opportunity forever. Now, if you're talking about medically assisted or related suicide, then that's different. I think there should be broader acceptance in alleviating someone from dying a slow and miserable death from something terminal. I'd rather society greatly improve mental health access so people can get help. That said, I do believe in assisted suicide if the person is dying, on deathbed. There are a ton of writings on suicide and depression. But one song really sticks out to me personally. It's called, A Better Place. A Better Time, by Streetlight Manifesto. Without giving away details of the song, it describes the story of a person who has a suicidal friend. This person will help the suicidal friend through everything they can. But throughout the song you, the audience, realize the person has a unique outlook on the situation. The person reveals that no matter how much grief the death of their friend would cause them, all they can do is be supportive. That it is their friend's choice to make. My favorite line is, "I'll draw your bath and I'll load your gun. But I hope so bad you choose to bathe and hunt." Looking back at my own suicide attempts and own personal views, I can honestly say it would be almost impossible to kill myself if one of my friends brought me my drugs. It's hard to kill yourself when you have even a single person. But at the end of the day, it's still an individual's choice. I'll help in any way I can. But I won't stop you from your choice. It's not mine to make. As the child of two parents that committed suicide, it seems to me it's the most personal choice one can make in their life. I will never fully understand my parents' reasons. And I don't need to. That was their choices as individuals. Selfish? Yes, I think so. But are we not within our rights to be selfish? The whole will always be there. I guess it's the question of, why? That stays in the minds of the people who are left. So much of life is playing the game. Being made aware that the game can be stopped at any time raises questions that we're not trained to comprehend in polite society. Uncomfortable questions about ourselves and our relationships that we all have, but that we're taught to put aside. I've made my peace with their choices. But what I can, want, am willing to do with my life remains to be seen. Now that I have the availability of the choice in my mind, things come into sharper focus. I have come close to accidental death and the threat of imposed death on several occasions. And in none of them did I agree to die. So I know I want to live. With the background theme tune of Life is Short, I question and analyze the vast majority of the aspects of my life. Too much thinking for a simple little being. Dogs seem to have it good. I reckon they're the top of the reincarnation chain. Just delighted with life. A squirrel. Excellent. A tummy rub. Superb. Lying under a table on the beer-stained sidewalk with your head in cigarette butts? Okay. As long as they're with their loved ones. We live on love. Being abandoned is terrifyingly close to dying without your consent. But everyone is a free individual. You can neither give nor take away freedom from an individual. Once a person realizes they are free, they can no longer be held to the rules of the game. So when, if I may ask without getting banned, do you think suicide is wrong? You have a 15-year-old girl who was bullied, teased in class to where she ran home crying and can't go back to face any of them, decides to end her life. At 15. I don't know about anyone, but in my view that's wrong. How many 15-year-olds actually know what they want out of life? Or for that matter have been teased and bullied in class and decided not to end their lives? Because almost nobody who chooses that path is in their right state of mind. Mental illness twists your world in a ways those not in the know couldn't imagine. When my depression and anxiety hit the hardest, I can only see negative things in everything. People wronged me. I wronged or failed them. I have nothing interesting in future. Nothing brings me any sense of satisfaction. I don't deserve to even talk to anyone, etc. I'm in prison of my own making. And the feeling that's most prevalent is that I just want it all to stop. I want to escape that hell. By any means. I've tried to set myself as many warning signs as possible for when that happens next. I hope they're enough to make me realize that I'm losing it and that I shouldn't decide anything. ATM, but I cannot honestly guarantee that any of them have any effect on me. Outside contact is the only thing that is guaranteed to pull me out of that madness. And when all that is over, light suddenly returns to the world and I can see solutions to situations I thought couldn't be fixed. Something makes me laugh. I can bring myself to join Discord and say hi to my friends. The difference is night and day. That's why I think someone at their lowest moment deserves proper rest and second chance to decide whether they're still feeling the same tomorrow. I find it weird that people are so against suicide, yet whenever hypothetical immortality debates come up, most people are against it. I have had suicidal ideation since I was 6 years old. Never attempted, though made plans once in my life. The answer you seek comes about from two reasons. The first, altruism is rampant in our society because we have a massive ego complex with good versus bad. It's not truly about your life ending. It's about making others around you feel icky inside. If you ask anyone, they would tell you they much rather you suffer and be tough than be weak and succumb, because they wouldn't want that for themselves. Hence ego. The second reason is because people typically view others as useful in the grand scheme of things. Whether it be simple as someone enjoying your company, or a politics nut wanting you to pay your damn taxes and keep the wage wheel going. Unfortunately, I don't think USA will see any instance of assisted suicide for the reasons I disclosed. The amount of apathy I've been seeing lately isn't a good sign. People are being desensitized and becoming numb to the pain of others. We, as common people, should be righteously angry. Because of empathy, no one should have to succumb to pain, to feel completely hopeless, and to feel the need to get rid of themselves. We as a society should care. Because community is what got us this far. No one deserves to die in emotional agony. We need to care. And I want everyone to know. We shouldn't let life become pain for everyone. We need to make life better for everyone. For the sake of empathy, everyone deserves to live happy. I don't want people to fall in line, to die empty and apathetic to their own lives. Life doesn't need to be this way. Because people care more about their own feelings than that of the person contemplating suicide. Also, people think they can make decisions for others because of a superior worldview. From their perspective. Because it isn't a good thing to let someone with a treatable problem just kill themselves. So in general, suicide isn't something people allow. In cases where there is no help and the person is suffering, I do think that those people should be allowed to commit suicide. Though, my grandma actually went through dignity with dying. She didn't want to eventually have someone have to help wipe her ass and decline in front of us. I'm glad she did it for her sake. She died painlessly, peacefully, and quickly while surrounded by her kids and on her own terms. I don't know if young people who are simply depressed should be allowed to do it, as there's a lot of options to help, including ECT when meds and therapy don't help. However, I'm all for the elderly and infirm going through dignity with dying. When the best part of your day is when you can have a bowel movement, or the 3 seconds you get from getting help from someone as you're standing up out of your wheelchair because you can no longer stand up on your own, just to sit on the toilet or be able to lie back down in bed. What the hell is the point in living anymore at that stage in life? Because sometimes a decision we make that's colored by transitory states can have permanent consequences that we wouldn't subscribe to or approve of if in any other state and in those situations. It makes sense to stop folks from committing suicide. It's much trickier when we talk about situations that aren't state-dependent. Someone who is immobile and cognitively impaired likely isn't going to improve their station. For chronically and clinically depressed or anxious folks, what might be state for other folks might be a trait for them. I'm supportive of euthanasia providing it's regulated and heavily scrutinized. I'd much rather someone have the choice to exit peacefully than resorting to jumping off a bridge or shooting themselves. Because usually situations like this occur when the person has mental issues and needs medical help. To fix it, oftentimes people neglect these issues or family, friends keep them from getting help they need. Although if you become sick with a deadly illness or you reach the age of 60 in many states you can have state-assisted suicide, which is completely legal. I'd say society is pretty determined to prevent every source of death. Is there a death we are promoting? I guess war could be considered one. What someone chooses to do with their life isn't summertime else's concern. You tell that to the person's mom, or their spouse, or their kids, or their best friend. Do you really believe people exist in an isolated bubble where nothing they do affects anyone else? Also, most people who commit suicide are people who, once they get some help, don't actually want to die. I had a friend where everyone I texted, called him and didn't hear back for a while. I was afraid he might have killed himself. He's doing great now though, and the loss of him would have been a tragedy. It scares people. 99.9% of people are distracting, running, hiding from their own mortality. If someone can just off themselves, willy-nilly, it's frightening and undermines their own futile existence. A lot of people talking about how it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, but not enough people explaining why someone should live rather than die. On a societal level, suicides can be a destructive force. I think a study showed that on average 6 to 8 people go through significant grieving every time someone dies. So on a strictly sociological perspective, one suicide takes out one person permanently, and turns 6 to 8 people temporarily but severely unproductive. Even if people don't talk about it in terms of numbers, I think they instinctively know that every suicide chips away at the society and want to prevent them. It's better put resources into solving the situation that force people into suicide than deal with a permanent and much more damaging impact that suicides bring.
Dead people don't pay taxes. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.